Hey friends, I'm here today to give you guys a quick tip on how to make a curly wig your own by cutting in a few little layers to it. Curly wigs are the easiest wigs to do this with because the curls make cutting more forgiving. You don't have to be as precise in how you cut because the curls will spring up and look really great. So the wig on my head is a human hair wig by In Vogue Medical Wigs. This is Danity. This is one of her signature styles. Danity is made with Filipino human hair that is naturally curly. So the curls on this piece are not permed curls, they're natural curls. Now this piece is in the color Bronde Balayage. As I film this video, this piece can be purchased in this color or a 1B, which can be colored, which you can send off to a colorist and have it custom colored to your liking. This one was done by Kirsten, and she took a 1B, which is a soft black, and she colored it this, just in case you're curious. But this technique that I'm about to show you will work with synthetic wigs as well. So you can do this with curly or with curly synthetics or curly human hair. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. I suffer from hair loss. I have since I was in my early 20s, and I am 51 now as I film this. I'm almost 52, and I wear wigs full time, and I do wig reviews, tip videos. I talk about hair loss. I have a whole buzzing series where I buzz my hair and I talk about the pros and cons and updates of my buzzed hair. So if you're suffering from hair loss, if you know someone who is, or if you just want to wear wigs, then this is the place for you. Now this piece is, I've already done some trimming. So when I got this one, it was a bob length, all one length. So these little layers that you see here were not in this piece. I didn't film, unfortunately. I just started hacking away at it, and I finally went, oh my gosh, I should be filming this. So I'm sorry I didn't film the whole thing, but I'm going to show you what I do, and you can do this with any curly piece that you have. I am not a stylist. I've never been trained on this. The technique that I use on my own wigs may not be the best way to do it. I'm here to show you how someone with no experience, with no styling or cutting skills, can make the wig journey work, and I can make wigs my own. Please proceed with caution if you decide to follow the tips I'm giving you here. This is what works for me. I've done this many, many times. I just want to give you that disclaimer. I'm sure there are going to be some stylists in the comments that may not love the way that I do it or have a different way that they would do it. But here's the deal, you guys. A lot of us who come to wigs unwillingly, meaning we've suffered from hair loss, and in case you're new to my channel, we've suffered from hair loss, and it's taken all the courage that we have to even be able to wear wigs. Many of us who've been losing our hair for double-digit years don't have a hairstylist in our back pocket. I personally avoided going to the stylist for years because my hair was terrible and so thin, and no stylist really could ever help me with it, and nobody ever had suggestions for me. So what I ended up doing for the last 5 years is using hair fibers to hide my thinning and just putting my hair up in messy buns to try to make it look thicker. So I understand if there are better ways to do these types of things, but the reality is many of us out here don't have anybody to do this for us. And so we do have to learn some techniques that will work for our personal skill level and comfort level to be successful at wig wearing. That's why I make videos like this, not because I think I know best. I know I don't know best. I know what works for me, and I also know that what works for me will work for others, and that's why I put myself out here and share this. So please be kind in the comments and understand that context if what you see isn't what you would do. And one last thing before I get to the cutting, Kirsten from In Vogue Medical Wigs is an incredible wig maker. She makes beautiful pieces. Oh, my dog just pushed the door open. And I highly recommend her work. She does wig drops generally on the 25th of every month. So I will link her website below, but you may find that all of her wigs stay out of stock. If it's not the 25th of the month, she may not be currently selling any wigs. She has a business where she makes or helps women with breast prosthesis, going through chemotherapy and mastectomies, and she helps women losing their hair in another part of her business. So this isn't her main business. But if you are on Facebook, I strongly recommend you join her private Facebook group. There she announces special wig drops. This piece right here in the 1B color, she had available for $199 for 3 days in her Facebook group. So she sometimes offers wigs at actually a loss for her as a thank you to all of her Facebook group members. So if you're looking for a piece like this, again, this is Filipino hair. I'd never had Filipino hair before. It's amazing. It's lightweight. It's wispy. And again, this is natural curl, not perm. Then you definitely want to remember her website and pay attention to the 25th of the month, and hopefully Danity will be available again next time. All right, let's start talking about cutting. One of the tools that I think are a must-have for all wig wearers, one of these. This is a thinning razor. I have some hair stuck right in the blade there. This is a thinning razor. Basically, this blade comes out and you want to change that blade regularly, especially if you are cutting synthetic. Synthetic fibers are like a plastic type material and they will dull scissors and razors very, very quickly. So it comes with, I think, 10 extra razors when you purchase it, and then you can buy extra refills as well. So I strongly recommend every wig wearer have one of these. It is so perfect for doing little touch-ups to your wigs. It's perfect for creating a little bit of a bang. When you're not good at cutting, using a scissors is tricky because it's really easy to overcut or to cut too much. And so using something like this, while it will take longer, is more foolproof. I actually use a thinning razor like this to even cut length on a wig because I can go slower. So let's look at how I use this. So basically, what I did, so this was all one length, and it's still a work in progress. Usually when I start to modify a wig, I go slow over the course of a few weeks. I cut it a little bit, and then I wear it. I want to make sure, how is it? Do I need to do more? You can't get the hair back, so you don't want to overcut. So what I did, and especially with a curly piece like this, is I just started by kind of looking at the hair, looking at how it laid. Because it was all one length, it laid really, really heavy on the bottom. And so I just started to pick up some of these top layers and I just started trimming them. So let me show you what I do. Let's take this piece right here, and then I just take the razor and I just sort of slice down, lengthening as I go, and I get a little bit of hair. But what happens is it's not a blunt cut, and so therefore it blends really beautifully with the rest of the hair. And so I basically just go through the wig, and I do that all throughout. Now the back is tough to get. That I would probably want to do on a mannequin head and then put it on periodically and see how it lays. But I just do the little bit of trimming, and then I sort of do this, fluff it back in. Sometimes when I do this, it can straighten out the curl a little bit or frizz it up a little bit, as you can see. So what I did, I cut most of this last night. And so then what I did was I took a water bottle and I sprayed the wig down really, really well. I got it nice and wet. I took a wide tooth comb and I combed through it. Then I scrunched it up a lot and then I let it dry. That way I can see how those curls are falling in place and how it's laying, so that if I want to do more. So you see this piece right here, I kind of notice that it just sort of sticks out because it's a little bit long. And so I'm just going to take this little piece and I'm going to trim it up just like that. And then I'm going to let it bounce back in. This is why I say curly wigs are way easier than straight wigs, because the curls will forgive you. If you cut, especially if you just take like this, maybe a little too short. I haven't decided yet, but that's okay. Because it's curly, I can just kind of get it back in with the rest of the hair, and that's gonna work out just perfect. So you don't have to be worried as long as you go slow. You know, I wouldn't take a chunk like this That I think is too big unless you're really skilled. I would go in and I would look for a really little piece. And then don't go long, start low and just take a little tiny bit off. Don't be impatient. Impatience is the enemy with this kind of stuff because you can't get the hair back. And even though these pieces are more budget friendly than a lot of human hair wigs, it's still a decent amount of money. So you don't want to mess it up. So that's basically what I do. And I don't expect to be done. And I like to kind of pull it back when I do it as well. So as I layer it, because again, I'm not sawing it in place, I'm combing down it. And I work my way down the piece. So I started up here, and then as I go through extra strokes, I do them longer so that it's actually creating a little bit of a layer, if that makes sense. So I don't expect to be done with this in one day. I will do a little bit, and then I'll wear it. And then I'll come back, and I'll do a little bit more until I feel as though I've got it exactly where I want it. And I took a bit more off there because this piece was sort of sticking out. So I really wanted it a lot shorter on the underside. And this one, again, too thick. I don't want to take all of that. So I'm just going to take a little bit and then I'll go back in and maybe do more if I don't like the way it's looking. Is this making sense to you guys? We are all different in our preferences. And that's how you do it. Now, if you find that you're having to saw on the hair a lot, if it's not sliding through like butter and just taking the hair off, then that means the blade is getting dull and you want to change it. It should really glide through really easily. I'm just trying to determine if I need to cut this piece or if it just needs to be wet down because I've been, playing with it. So if I'm losing a little bit of that curl, I want to be careful because when it's wet and springs back up, then it might be too short. So over here, since I played with it so much, I feel like I need to spray that down before I cut any more. And that's it. That's how you can trim up a curly wig, human hair or synthetic. This is a great tip for those of you who don't have a stylist or you feel as though your wig just needs a little bit of something around the face and you don't really want to pay a stylist for something like that. As long as it's curly, this technique will work perfectly and you don't have to be precise. Hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you all so much. I'll talk to you in my next video.
Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. Here are a few videos I think you might enjoy. Go ahead and click on one and watch.